Oh, what ho chaps, I'm MagicalMike, and recently I played through Borderlands 1 again. With the release of 3, I fancied playing it. I realised it was an Epic exclusive and said, oh, sod that then. I'll just replay the first, and by that I mean the original first, not the Game of the Year Enhanced Edition. And now that 3 is on Steam, I'm not even interested anymore. Now, first of all, I'd like to preface this video by saying that I really did not like Borderlands 1 at all when I first played it. The reason I liked the look of 3 so much was because it looked, at a glance, like it fixed a lot of the issues that I had with the first looter-shooter in the series. And I've always heard that Borderlands 1 was amazing. It was the best game ever, everyone loved it, and it was just me that didn't enjoy it. So when you hear that all the time, when the game gets brought up in conversation, you've really got to question your stance on it. So I wanted to replay it just to make sure that I remembered things correctly, and, well, let me tell you, I definitely remembered things correctly. Just getting this thing to play nice was already a pain. The FOV is absolutely horrible. It felt like it might have been about 40 degrees or so because it was so zoomed in. Everything was sickening to look at, and I don't normally have problems with FOV in games. So, after checking the PC Gaming Wiki and sorting some mods and some fixes out, it all started to play a little bit nicer. That is, until you unlock the Catch a Ride station and then get in a car, which for some reason resets your FOV back to Bathland. So, back to the internet for a while. La-di-da, aha, random thread on some forum somewhere that tells me which bizarre INI file edits I need to make. Right, got that, let's go and do that. Oh, well, I don't actually use the default keys, right, so there's more work involved there. So I better just work out how all this code works, and finally, there we go. Now I have a script that runs whenever I press the sprint key to reset the FOV back to a sensible level. Why? What a ridiculous thing I had to do there. So, now that it plays nice, at least on a technical level, let's have a look at it. Oh, God, it's brown. Everything's brown. The whole damn game is brown. Right up until the last area, which is snowy, on top of the brown. It really is a relic of its time. Back in the days when every military shooter coming out had to be brown, grey and generic, for some kind of gritty brown, grey, realistic realism reason. I don't know. But for some reason Borderlands didn't really try to deviate too much from that. Granted, they did add a ton more colour in the sequel, but that's not the game that we're playing, is it? The next problem would be the lack of a mini-map. Yeah, normally in games I'm against mini-maps anyway, because they take your eyes away from just exploring and travelling, which should be the fun and distinctive stuff in the first place, to help you navigate easily and where things are, but not here. As I said, everything's brown and empty, so it's extremely dull to travel, and I wish there was a mini-map, at least, to alleviate this issue of constantly needing to check the big map every 5 seconds. The thing is, with cars being so quick, you cover a lot of ground, and unless you've got a good memory for working out where you are quickly on the 2D map, you'll need to reference it constantly, which is pretty annoying, and I know my memory for maps is absolutely garbage, so bit of a problem here. And one that they actually recognised too, because in the Enhanced Edition they added a mini-map. But again, that's not the game that we're playing, is it? Overall, the entire UI is just clunky. Swapping weapons takes too much faff, you can't favourite them or mark stuff as junk, so you have to be careful anytime you sell stuff and make sure that you keep your weapons as up-to-date as possible, but more on loot later. Essentially, you can tell that it's a relic of being a console port. There really isn't much good PC UI here. The quests themselves are extremely lackluster too, having you basically go back and forth through respawning enemies and covering the same old ground over and over again. There really is hardly any variety. The writing wasn't interesting for me the first time round, and this time round it wasn't as well. And I felt like I was just doing the bare minimum every time to get stuff done just for XP. I can't count the number of clown tents that I engaged that had like 30 enemies pour out of them at a time, or the number of times I was told to go kill them, and then go back to hand it in, and then go back again to loot a tape or something, and then back again. New Game Plus was also no different, so yeah, not a great experience there. Oh yeah, and if they have cutscenes in between, you can't skip them, because reasons, I guess. Oh, and if there's a lack of fast travel to some of the locations, you're forced to backtrack absolutely loads, which is especially a problem in Nox's armory. Luckily there is a mod that adds in a bunch of fast travel stations, so thankfully we managed to get away from that. But still, it's not in the base game, is it? Enemy variety is extremely poor. You've got Skags, you've got Dudes, you've got Crimson Lance, and in one area you've got the Iridian guys. The DLC added zombies, which are just more dudes, claptrap robots, which are just extremely annoying little dudes, and well, that's about it really. Oh well, I mean you've got Rack and Spider Ants too, I guess. I just kind of ran through the enemies until the Iridians at the end of the second run, just so that I could power level to level 69, and just finish. Action skills themselves for each class seem pretty boring all round. It feels like they don't work together at all, and really they just kind of use them off cooldown for a bit of a power boost. Or in my case, as a Siren, just use it to buy time to regen some health and some shields. Not particularly interesting, and builds all seem a bit samey when I look online for them. Not particularly fun. Most of the decisions that you're going to make are just based on what guns you've got. Again, more on that in a little bit. The pacing seems awkward sometimes as well. When leveling, if your guns aren't up to snuff, or you're too low level for a quest, you'll just do no damage and die instantly, which again is pretty lame. You can't really overcome a lot of stuff with skill. Some stuff, yes, but there is an upper limit to that. Which finally brings us on to the guns. Wow, I mean, yeah, there's not a huge amount of good ones in the game, is there? And the really good ones are all tied to super duper late game drops, like pearls or your high level stuff, which are mostly going to come from abusing the armory glitch to loot it loads and loads of times, or learning how to beat Chromarax and hopefully getting lucky, which, of course, isn't guaranteed. And you need strong weapons in the first place to go and do that, so if you're farming that, by that point, you're probably already level 69, which is max level, and you don't really need the weapons anyway, because what is there left to even do? I did actually beat Chromarax after these attempts that you're seeing in the video, but not on video because I'd given up recording. Anyway, so guns, yeah, they're pretty damn boring outside of legendary ones, and even then there's still not that many good legendary weapons in the game, and since there's so much crap to filter through, it can take absolutely ages to get a fun gun when you're farming the armory or the gift shop. So in other words, the main draw of the game, its incredible amount of unique guns and ways to shoot stuff, sucks. And speaking of shooting stuff, how about that Underdome DLC, am I right? Yeah, it's probably one of the worst DLCs in gaming history, or so the internet would have you believe, and yeah, they probably aren't wrong, because I've played a lot of it, and oh god, it's so dull. I mean, good god, those arenas just go on for such a long time. Did you feel like doing a wave assault shooter for about 9 to 12 hours to complete it? No? No, me neither, not really. There's 3 arenas, between 3 to 4 hours of gameplay in each one at a time. Yeah, it's a damn slog. I'm sure they could be fun with friends. No, actually, no, I'm not very sure about that at all. I don't know why I said that. But anyway, that's hardly an excuse for the game being absolutely rubbish for a single player, is it? So that's Borderlands 1, as I remember it, a pretty average to dull looter shooter that really sparked off this kind of trend that I don't really understand. For some reason everybody seems to love it apart from me. I don't think I'll ever understand that, in fact. And in fact I've probably just pissed off everybody that loves the series. But hey, that's a risk I'm willing to take. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you guys next time, as long as I haven't been mobbed by all the Borderlands fans. Wish me luck, I guess.